Solutions Matter daily radio show, where we tackle the tough issues that keep founders up at night and answer your questions on everything from fundraising and board recruitment to marketing and resource development. If you're looking to start a nonprofit, raise money, organize your board, reactivate your organization, or chat about your mission, text the number on the screen to book a free call. We're happy to provide clarity and connect you with the resources and tools to help you move forward. Now, let's jump into today's program. Stay tuned as our Vice President dissects today's topic. Feel free to ask questions by dropping your comment below. Let's get started.
Good morning, beautiful people. It's good to see you all here today. It's good to have you all here today. Please comment wherever you're joining us from. We'd like to know you, we'd like to hear from you. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to develop your nonprofit corporate funding strategy. Yesterday, we were able to talk about what corporate funding is all about, what corporate cash flow is all about, the different forms of corporate cash flow your organization can tap into. And really today we want to go a step further and talk about how you can develop a corporate funding strategy for your organization. So many organizations want to be able to raise money from corporates, they want to be able to raise money from businesses, but of course there's no strategy. They don't have a strategy to be able to enact that process in their organization, thereby holding them back. So today I'm going to walk you through how to develop your corporate funding strategy. And of course, at the end of the day, you're going to get valuable practical steps you can begin to take to start guiding your organization in that direction. So of course, what is a corporate funding strategy? A corporate funding strategy is most likely the step-by-step process you take to bring in corporate funding for your organization. And it's very important you map out this roadmap. It's very important to map out this framework for your organization before you even begin to execute, because it's going to really guide you across the execution so that you can be able to create the results you desire. So what's the very first step of developing your corporate funding strategy? So what's the very first step of developing your corporate funding strategy? So like I would always say, the very first step is to invite your board members in for a planning session. So you could call it a resource development planning session, you could call it a corporate funding planning session, you could call it a work planning session. But of course, the goal is to invite your board members in for a planning session. It is very important your board members lead this charge, because you want them to be able to also participate in the process. You want them to be able to put their weight behind the process. And of course, like we always say, people who plan together execute together. So the first step is really to bring the board members to a round table to say, let's plan on how we're going to bring in corporate sponsorship. And what does that plan really entail? Well, the plan starts with first defining your fundraising goal. How much are you looking to raise from corporate funding? What kind of resources are you looking to get from corporate funding? So because, sometimes it's beyond money. Sometimes it's getting them to support you as regards their expertise. Sometimes it's regards getting in-kind donation. But the very first step is defining what you're asking for, what you're looking for. So once you have your goals defined, I usually have a structure to helping my clients define their goals so that they can tie that goal to the impact they are looking to create, thereby creating a strong case for that goal. So the next step is to define who your target audience are. So every organization target audience is most likely going to be different, right? An organization that works with school children, their target audience is most likely going to be different from an organization working with women. So it's really you identifying who really are target audience. And of course, there are different questions you can ask yourself to be able to narrow that down. One, we were able to identify a target audience is one, identify corporates and brands that align with your vision and your mission. Two, looking into your location to find out, the key players within your location who would like to get access to your network. Three, the people you serve, who serves them, which brand serves them. So some of these questions will help you narrow down on who your target audience really are, so that you can know the group or the category of people you should be reaching out to. to ask for corporate funding. The third step is to define the values and benefits you're going to be providing these guys in return. Like I said yesterday, corporate funding is a value exchange strategy. So it means that you're asking for funding, you should be able to give something back in return. And this is really where you get to define what are we giving back in return. So it's really about looking into your organization and identifying those leverage points that could be of benefit to your sponsors, and then categorizing that into some sort of a packet. It could be gold, silver, bronze standard, premium, and all that sort of languages you use around it. But really, it's identifying what are the benefits and then putting that into packages that people can now opt for. And sometimes I would say some of these benefits that you need are probably not within the organization at the time. You may likely have the structures, the processes in place to provide this benefit, but because you've never thought about this intentionally, you don't really have. So some of these benefits, you may have to create them based on the structures you already have so that you can accumulate more benefits for the people you're looking to partner with. Once you're able to do, benefits and value definition, the next is to go into your outreach strategy. So your outreach strategy is going to be dependent on a number of things. It could be dependent on the target audience. Who are your target audience? Of course, if you're looking for church people, it means you're going to have to go to the church. That, of course, influences your strategy. If you're looking for teachers, you're most likely going to be going to schools or associations where teachers, congregate. So that's an excellent influence your strategy, because, of course, if you're going to reach a school or an association of teachers, is a different strategy entirely when you're trying to reach people in the church. So your outreach strategy is really going to be dependent on who you're reaching out to and how you also want to reach out. People reach out by just sending out emails, asking for funding, sending out these different sponsorship packages saying, pick any of these sponsorship packages and sponsor us. But that hardly really works because you don't lead your communication with your hands out. So there has to be a strategy on how you intend to reach out. Usually we set up meetings and then go into these meetings to make the ask, identify where there's common interest, and before making the ask. So there has to be a strategy to your outreach. You just can't go out there and start putting out messaging to just anyone. You are most likely not going to create the results you desire. The next step is really the tools and infrastructure you need for this process. So, for example, for corporate sponsorship, you may need some sort of a proposal, some sort of a customer resource management platform, a sales page, marketing messaging, depending on what has to go into your strategy, of course. That's where you get to identify what are the tools and infrastructures that we have to be able to build so we can execute this strategy flawlessly. Having those resources in place before you launch a strategy is very important to your credibility. You don't want a corporate or a brand out there to look at you like you're not organized. So by having these tools available and using them throughout your engagement, make sure they are properly branded. You are communicating the fact that you are an organization with an organized system, which is going to be really very critical in helping you get funding. The next step down the line is your execution team. Who's going to be launching out this outreach? Who's going to be managing the entire process? Who's going to be, meeting with these corporates? Who's going to be, reaching out to them in the first place to initiate a relationship? You have to be able to build that team. Normally, what we do is we build an outreach team that is in charge of reaching out to these corporates, these CEOs, these business owners, to be able to, to set up a meeting. And then we have a board committee that's in charge of going into these meetings to negotiate the deal and make the ask on behalf of the organization. So really, there has to be that a follow-up, and that team has to be up and doing to be able to ensure that there's success. Because if you just create a strategy without a team to execute it, it's most likely not going to take you anywhere. And then lastly, the budget. Corporate funding is most likely going to cost you. When I say cost you, you're developing the tools, developing the infrastructures, launching out your outreach, it's going to cost you. Sometimes you may even want to, spend money in promoting your outreach that it reaches a large number of people. It's going to cost you. So you must capture all that into a budget and ensure that your organization has that budget to be able to meet up to the execution you're about to execute before you go out there. So really, this is how you develop a corporate funding strategy. You go all the way from defining how much you're looking to bring in, the materials you're looking to bring in, so who your target audience is, So the values and benefits you're looking to provide these guys in return, to your outreach strategy, how you intend to reach out to this group of people, of course, over to your tools and infrastructure, which is going to help you launch out your strategy and ensure credibility throughout the process. And also your execution team also have to, be ready to go. So you must identify who are these people that are going to help us execute and build that team. And then lastly, you have to look at what the budget of this whole execution is going to look like, because of course it's going to cost you. And you don't want to be in the middle of the process before realizing that these are some of the costs that are going to come along the way. So you have to plan and determine it from the very beginning before you get started. So really, this is what we have today as regards how to develop a non-profit corporate funding strategy. Tomorrow, I'm going to come on here to come and talk about how to create the tools and resources you need, the infrastructures, the tools, and then, of course, how to build the team that's going to help you launch out your outreach. I'm so happy to have provided you this information today. Please do not sit on it. Go take action. Go help your organization with what you've learned. Find one or two ways to begin to execute any of these strategies I just mentioned now. And of course, you're going to see yourself on the other side of success, happy that you took the kind of steps you took today. So, of course, until I see you tomorrow again, it's going to be bye-bye for today. I love you, man.
Thank you for tuning in to the Nonprofit Solutions Matter Daily radio show. We hope today's insights have been valuable in helping you tackle the challenges and opportunities within the nonprofit sector. We're here to support you in starting, raising funds for, and growing your nonprofit. If you have any questions or need further assistance, don't hesitate to reach out. You can send us an email to book a free discovery call, or simply comment below, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. We look forward to hearing from you and helping your organization thrive. Until next